Cramp. Give you a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain. Gave you all the game now, y'all can keep the change. Crimstone from the A and I'm a reputable. Criminal my name if you wanna get technical. My rag bound niggas call me young Ishmael. When I'm on the block, the only one that's gonna get mail. Cause I was raised in the hood as a crim star. I see my enemies, but believe I'm gonna go hard. I'm so smart when it come to cutting solid shit. You fucking with your boy, man, the local criminologist. See you niggas know nothing about the criminal. Catch a nigga spitting rounds, bet you niggas bow it down. I bet he gon' back up. If he act up, I put in the yak up, and pour in the lack up. All my real niggas from the set with it. Know we got we get some fucking fat with it. I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change. Give you a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain. I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change.
A penny for your thoughts, rubbing nickels and dimes, quarter piece head toss, you going out your mind. Heads up, you just lost, crisscross applesauce. You running out of time, oh you're lost. At the finger of a finger, oh y'all boss. Yeah. I'm coming to get mine. I keep my finger drinking the finest wine. Even when I lose, I'm a winner. I drop these lines for all you sinners. You just a beginner.
I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change. I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change. Cramp. Give you a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain. Gave you all the game now, y'all can keep the change. Crimstone from the A and I'm a reputable. Criminal my name if you wanna get technical. My rag bound niggas call me young Ishmael. When I'm on the block, the only one that's gonna get mail. Cause I was raised in the hood as a crim star. I see my enemies, but believe I'm gonna go hard. I'm so smart when it come to cutting solid shit. You fucking with your boy, man, the local criminologist. See you niggas know nothing about the criminal now. Catch your niggas still down, expect you niggas bow it down. I think he gon' back up. If he act up, I put in the yak up, I pour in the lack up. I'm a real nigga from the set with it. Know we got we get some fucking fat with I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change. Give you a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain. You all the game, now y'all keep the change.
A penny for your thoughts, rubbing nickels and dimes, quarter piece head toss, you going out your mind. Heads up, you just lost, crisscross applesauce.
All right. We up in this building. We're coming here to talk about medical genocide on the Black community, part 1. I got my girl Alicia Brown in the.
Hello, everybody.
You do and
your voice is going out a little bit.
I know I took my mic. I muted my mic. So tell us a little bit about what you do. Because what you did when I talked to you earlier, initially I was going to do an interview. And when I got to talking to you, you inspired me to do this this live about the medical genocide amongst Black women and infants. But then I started I'm gonna mute your mic real quick because it's a little background noise while I'm talking.
Oh,
Okay, so at first I was thinking I was going to do just the women and children, but I said, you know what? We're not the only ones that's been affected by medical genocide. So then I said, you know what? Black community has been affected. So this might be a two-part thing, but tell us what you do, as to why, because you tell us about your organization and your title, and just give us a little background about that. Let me unmute your mic. Hold on. I'm trying to unmute it. Okay. It won't unmute. Unmute your mic. Okay, there you go.
Okay, I did. All right. So again, everybody, my name is Alicia Brown. I am actually work with an organization called Black Infant Health. Here in my city. Black Infant Health in my city, which is Pasadena, has been around for 30 years. The reason why Black Infant Health was created was to try to close the gap between, uh, birth income and, other, and addresses other, issues between, why there's such a gap between, say white women's births and pregnancies and Black women. Um, I was a participant at this program for all of my pregnancies, all of my children. And so this kind of like the cycle come full circle, for me to now be working and providing um, mothers, participants, clients with the same resources that I had. So yeah.
Okay, so what made me wanted to do this is because in recent news, have you heard about the baby that was decapitated coming out of her mom's womb?
Yes, I did hear about that. I actually have had extensive conversations with my doula, one of my doulas, about the situation, and I obviously it's fair to say nobody likes that. Um, there's there's a lot missing. You know what I mean? As somebody who has had 6 children and been
Mhm.
around for several others to have their children, and currently training to become a doula myself, and though yes, every birth is different, but something went wrong because there's no reason from what I hear that baby's head comes out. As for those who have delivered vaginally, that's the hardest part. Once the head is out, you can turn the baby and they on their way. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Why was that baby's head grabbed like that, for one? Two, why was the mother still pushing for 3 additional hours
Wow.
before the C-section was then done? That doesn't make any sense. You know what I mean? So there's some things that are definitely missing. You know what I mean? Um, but it's very much a malpractice issue. The doctor was 100% wrong. You know what I mean? And it's sad. Like, it's horrible to even think about.
Okay. So for those that's watching, I'm gonna just play a little short clip about the baby really quick, and so that they can be caught up, because not everybody knows about it. So I'm gonna just play a little short clip about it. Okay, let me just share my screen. Uh,
If you guys saw the video I posted earlier about Jessica Ross and the hospital decapitating.
I'm sorry. I don't like using let me stop that. I don't like using people like that. So let me do that over. I'll just do the article that I found about that. Let's see. Okay. I'm just gonna read this news clipping, and I'll just probably read it. Let's see here. There. So, a lawsuit accuses Georgia doctor of decapitating a baby during delivery. It says a doctor used too much force and decapitated a Georgia woman's baby during delivery. According to a lawsuit, attorneys said was filed Wednesday, the baby's mother and father, Jessica Ross and Travion Isaiah Taylor Sr., attended a news conference in Atlanta where their attorneys announced the lawsuit against Dr. Tracy St. Julian and South Regional Medical Center, a hospital in Riverdale, Georgia, where Ross went on July 9th to have her son. Riverdale is about 13 miles of South Atlanta. They were so excited about the birth of their first child, said attorney Corey Lynch. Unfortunately, their dreams and hopes turned into a nightmare that was covered up by Southern Regional Medical Center. To me, correct me if I'm wrong. I'm going to stop. Correct me if I'm wrong. But it sounds like a genocide happened here. It just sounds deliberate, like you said, because why would a child use force? I mean, why would a doctor use force on a baby like that? That's so fragile, you know.
Right. I absolutely agree with you. So when I first heard the story, the first thing that came to my mind when I heard decapitated was, okay, was this a C-section that went wrong? You know,
Mm-hmm.
cut too deep. You know what I mean? That's kind of the first thing that hit my mind
Mm-hmm.
until I heard, no, the doctor pulled the baby. And I said, that don't even, you know what I mean? Why would that be done? I don't understand.
And then you
So,
know what they did? You know what they did? Because I've already seen the videos and stuff. You know what they did? They didn't even tell the girl because I guess they didn't see it. Like the father and the mother didn't see the baby decapitated. They didn't even tell the woman that her child was decapitated for days on end. And then when they finally did show the family their baby, they tried to reattach the head and wrap like stage the baby so it looked like the baby was whole. It wasn't until an autopsy was done that the family found out when they were getting ready to bury. Not even an autopsy. I'll take that back. It was when they took the baby to the morgue. I mean, not the morgue, the mortician, right, to the funeral home. And when they took the baby to the funeral home, it was the funeral home that told them that their baby was decapitated. Like, why the baby head not there? Ain't that crazy? So
yeah,
now they face negligence and everything else. But I want to go through a history on this type of thing because this is not new. This is not new to Black women. You know, just me delivering my son, right? This is my second child. And this was 21 years ago, but I was in the state of Texas, so you already know. Had white nurse, white doctors and everything. I didn't really have a choice with the medical plan my husband at the time my husband had. And so we had to go, with whatever they had, which is it was supposed to be the best insurance where we were, whatever. So, anyways, I was laid up. They were trying to induce me, and then I felt like they popped my bag way too early. And then they were going to give me an epidural, right? So I'm telling the nurse the baby finna come. She telling me the baby not finna come. I'm like, no, this baby finna come. So, they have to wait till you're dilated a certain amount of centimeters to give you a epidural, and it can't be too far into the delivery. It's like a timing thing. And when they give you this epidural, it goes between your spine, right? Between your the little place between your spine and your spine. So you have
right.
to stand up and bend over, and they got to stick this long ass needle in your back. So as I'm bent over, and the what do you call those people? The anesthesiologist is putting the epidural in my back. My son is literally coming out, right? So I had to tell his father, I said, catch this baby. He's coming. He's coming. Catch him because I don't want my baby head to drop on the ground.
Right.
I had to catch him like a football.
That's wild.
This was in Tyler, Texas. His father had to catch. Now I was young then. I was like what 20, 22, 21, 22. So and I knew any better. I could have sued those people.
Right.
The
Right.
doctor didn't even deliver my baby. When the doctor came in, he when he finally came in, he was shaking out his boots. He didn't know what to do because he knew
Right.
that was a lawsuit. Anyways, do you have any similar experiences like that?
Yeah. Ironically, when I had the last baby I carried and had, I was a surrogate for the family. So you know, with surrogacy, there's a bunch of legalities, that
Mm-hmm.
come with that situation. And so, of course, my body will always be mine. I was trying to be careful with how I played on the line, per se. You know what I mean? Because the last thing I needed was for the doctor to try to claim, oh, she's being difficult, or whatever, because I picked her from the beginning. Me and this doctor, we weren't going to get along because she did not like that I knew my body. She had this attitude of, I think I know too much. You know what I mean?
Yeah, you
Whereas,
can't know too
like,
much with those people.
all right, well, my thing is, well, I've had my three who were born at 40 weeks, 40 and 5, 41. Excuse me, I had a set of twins that were born at 39 and 4,
Mhm.
with with baby B being breech.
Oh
So I done
wow.
had all the different ways, you know what I mean? I done did this, I'm not cocky about it, but I done did this, I done know my
Mhm.
research, and I'm a part of the organization that I now work for. I was a participant, you know. And she had mentioned to me around 30 weeks. Now it was clear that she didn't spend no time looking at my medical record. You know what I mean?
Mhm.
Oh, yeah, baby looks fine. You have kind of a date that you like, this and that, so we can schedule your C-section. What the hell I need a C-section for? I've never had a C-section. Why would I need that? Like, you know what I mean?
Right.
And I was like, well, I'm not having no C-section, so go ahead and kill that right now. And
Right.
she got upset, like, and from then on, we just did not get along. Finally, I came in the day after I turned 40 weeks. She's frustrated because she's like, well, this baby, we need to have this baby. I said, well, I mean, not really. I mean, we chilling. You know what I mean? Like, I'm not uncomfortable. I'm not in pain. He's sitting there chilling. I know how to, check for, whatever needs to be checked for. If he's good, and I know if something don't seem right, I know how to come on in. So we're good. 40 and 5 comes. Hold on real quick.
So just to elaborate on her C-section while she has me on hold, I want to
Okay.
talk about because when it comes to C-sections, doctors they get paid way more money to do a C-section. A doctor generally get paid a whole lot more than a vaginal birth.
Right.
Okay. So the
And I
thing
can
is,
even give you an example of that. The
go ahead.
twins' birth was vaginal.
Mhm.
Altogether, of course, my insurance, the insurance covered it. It was about $30,000, right? Insurance covered it.
Mhm.
There was no problem. That was twins. This one with the C-section almost ran about 100 and was it 2,000 by the time they were done? Yeah, and that was one baby. It's a business at the end of the day.
Yeah.
There's actual hospitals, as I'm learning with where I work now. There's actually hospitals that don't allow certain nurses or midwives to touch the baby during delivery because unless the doctor delivers them, they don't get paid.
Right.
It's just
Yeah.
a
So
business.
this is just a blog, but I'm just gonna just share it while we're talking about it because it's interesting that uh that and I try to tell people, that new mothers and everything that if they're gonna try to get you to do a C-section, no matter what. That is the going thing. They want you to get a C-section, so they'll say, "Oh, the baby's in danger, this, and that." But that baby don't be in no danger, no trauma, and then try to make up something so they can get that money. And a
Exactly.
C-section is very, very, very high risk to the mother.
Yep.
Um, I know my brother's baby mom. She had a C-section. She lost a lot of blood. So, and it ain't, I'm not trying to tell her story or anything. I just know that because I was in the hospital with her, and I was so scared for her life. You know what I mean? And it had to be a blood transfusion. So I'm just saying, like, that stuff can be very risky because you're getting cut on. You know, God gave us a natural way to have these babies, and it seems like when we started going to the doctor or whatnot, or going to the hospital to have these babies, that's when our um our death rates start getting higher. But when
Right.
we were delivering our babies on our own, it wasn't like that.
Right.
You know, you can go back in history. They used to go get Big Mama to deliver this baby. She delivered white babies, black babies, and stuff
Mm-hmm.
like that.
Right.
So now I want to touch on. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I don't know if you ever heard of Fannie Lou Hammer. She was a politician, right?
No, I actually haven't heard of her. I'm sorry.
So in 1961, Hammer entered into to the hospital to have a knot on because she had a knot on her stomach, right? Probably a benign uterine fibroid tumor removed, right?
Okay.
She then returned to her family shack on a plantation to recuperate. But okay, in the big house, right? The owner's wife, Vera Alicia Marlowe, was a cousin of the surgeon who had treated her, right?
Mm-hmm.
So she overheard Marlowe gossiping to the cook that Hammer had lost more than just a tumor while she was unconscious. The surgeon actually took her whole uterus without her knowing.
Oh wow.
Can you believe that?
Wow.
So this was in 1961, and I wanted to,
Mm. That's
yeah, they
that's
do
that's
that,
horrible.
huh?
So that's horrible.
Yeah, she didn't know her uterus was gone, so then she became infertile.
Right. Wow.
So then, it's another person I want to go. Oh God, his name. Let me see what his name is. I forget so far. Oh, let me stop sharing. Okay, let me put you on mute right now because it's some background noise. Okay. So like this is an ongoing thing in the Black community, and we need to really be aware, and we need to go back to old school ways. You know what I mean? Where we having our babies more natural.
Right.
Um, Let me see if I can find a better. This
Yeah,
is
I mean, honestly, that's kind of why, another contributing factor to what I do. You know what I mean?
mm,
Fortunately, when I was 17, pregnant with my first, I ran into the lady who brought me into the program because otherwise, I didn't know what I might have needed to do. Didn't need, you know what I mean? No idea.
right, right.
And I had a doula that I also, acquired or got through the program, and she was this little white lady, little blonde lady, and as we're pulling up to the end of my pregnancy, because they didn't call my pregnancy high risk or anything like that. They just couldn't understand why I wasn't gaining weight. So
Mm,
they tried the special diets. They tried, all these different things in my body, which I'm actually an athlete. We just don't put on the weight. We don't keep no weight on. So she came to my final prenatal appointment, right? And I'm only 39 weeks, couple days, whatever. And the doctor goes, well, if we don't see any progress in the next couple of days, we're just going to go ahead and induce you. And I was 17, so I'm thinking, okay, the doctor said it, then that's what it is, you know? My doula goes, no. What do you need to induce her for? Is there something wrong? Are you not being open with us about something being wrong? No, nothing's wrong. Okay, then why do you need to induce her? Inducing her is only going to run up her risk of having a C-section. There's nothing wrong with her. You look at the baby every time she's been here. Nothing is wrong. She's never had, preeclampsia, high blood pressure. She's never had, protein in her urine. She's never had anything. Why do you need to induce her?
Right.
Oh, well, it's her first baby, and we don't want to take the chance of anything happening. She says, you didn't even take the chance that nothing happens. Why,
Right.
So I'm letting them argue it out because I'm just sitting there like, okay. But what I'm saying that to say, if I had not had somebody like that was there to have my back, I probably would have, you know what I mean?
Right.
Just doing what the doctor said because that's what the doctor said, and could have ended up in a world of problems, And at the end of the day, they had told me my son was only going to be 4 pounds. They said we could see he's tall, he's long, but he only looks about 4 pounds. My son was 9 pounds and 4 ounces.
Oh, wow.
I left the hospital weighing less than I did when I got pregnant with him.
That is crazy. That is
I literally left the hospital, and I remember looking down as I was pushing him out and seeing across his chest, and the first thing that came to my mind was, ain't no way that's a 4-pound baby. Ain't no way. Now he's 18. He's 6'3". My thorn in my side, but
right.
But like I said, I'm grateful for her being there. Along with my second doula, with my next baby. That's who we spent the last couple of days with in Arizona. We went and drove out there, and we stayed at her house because that's the type of relationship we built. You know what I mean?
Right. I want to I'm going to use this video for fair use purposes. This is just for educational purposes. Just so I can make that known. But I want to show this video where Dr. Joy DeGruy talk about the fistulas and the beginning of medical practices during the slave trade. Okay.
All right.
Their first pathological symptom was their skin color. In a medical world that categorized life as either normal or pathological, people of the African diaspora were continually condemned to the category of pathological, their abnormal skin serving as a foil for normal white skin. Stay with me. The skin, if you see Black people, the problem is the skin itself is pathological because it's actually a foil over normal white skin. This is what medical journals suggested. Now we're going to find out how they named it. Medical tradition has a long history of perceiving this skin color as a form of pathology. The favorite theory, which reappears with some frequency in the early 19th century, is that the skin color and attendant physiognomy of the Black, here's the reason why y'all Black, is because of congenital leprosy. This is why there's so many of us. We all have congenital leprosy. Now, we have a second symptom. The second symptom of pathology was gender. Black females were perceived to be irreligious, lustful, and immoderate. Well, that's convenient, isn't it? Let's take a look at that. We need to really take a look at this one because I have a whole chapter on rape. Can't even get close to what that did to me. There were over, and this comes out of a social work book. In a social work book, it states that there were over 600,000 mixed race babies born in the mid-1800s based on the census. Now, this was during miscegenation. That means it's illegal to marry. So who was sneaking out back and who was raping whom? We have numbers. Young girls rarely made it to their teens before they were raped. But let's put that in perspective as a social scientist. Now, I want to get into that, the fact that we were lustful, because then you see it's their fault, isn't it? Surely I raped them, but didn't they deserve it? Now we need evidence of how we know they're lustful and immoderate and immoral. Here we go. Their protruding buttocks and genitals were offered as physical evidence of their pathology. Anybody up there with a big butt? Anybody with a big butt out there?
I'm going to fast forward it a little bit.
There you have it, you sluts. making underwear winter butts in going natural. I mean, you even have black people at that man. She can't be right. In the picture, they're crowding to be in it in suits. So whatever.
No.
My sister, who was traveling with me, we were on our way to Lesotho actually, and they got up and they met without me, the women. And so when I woke up, my sister said, "That's good." Translator gets up, starts translating. Two intellectual amputees looking for the upper.
Wait a minute, she getting on it, but it's like 44 minutes long. So I'm trying to find the right spot to because she talk about that. That's a whole nother story. Because it's on this video, but I'm trying to figure out how far down it goes. Oh, wait. Because she talked, let me just say what she says. Okay, so when black women used to have babies, right? You know how we tear a little bit? Are you still there?
Yeah, I'm here. Yeah,
Okay, so you know how we tear a little bit, right? So sometimes when we have babies, like it'll tear between the either between the between organs, right? On the inside. It'll tear between like maybe the bladder, or the intestine, the vagina, and that's what you would call a fistula, right? So it would cause because if it's torn within the intestine area, of course bile goes through there, and so what ends up happening is that it'll make a smell, a fishy smell, and so because of that they felt like black women were no good anymore.
Oh wow.
Yeah. So then they would use them, and this is the guy that he did this. They would use them for medical research.
Oh wow. That's
Yeah.
that's terrible.
They also said that felt like women were black women, I'm sorry, let me say black women. They also would say black women had a high tolerance for pain. They didn't think that we felt pain.
Right.
Here you go. So this is a good part. Okay, so this is James Marion Sims, was an American physician in the field of surgery. His most famous work was the development of surgical technique for the repair of vaginal fistula, a severe complication of obstructed childbirth. He is also remembered for inventing Sims speculum. You know the speculum that they use to open up the thing, and Sims sigmoid catheter and Sims position. Now, this man had been praised for centuries. For centuries. But I'm just going to show some images. I'm not going to post no videos here. Let me just show some images. But he literally, the reason why he found out, the reason why he had this breakthrough was because of the fact that he was doing his mad science on black women.
Wow.
Yeah. So this is just a photo. Yeah. So they wanted to remove his statue because of the things that he did to black women. You know, why is it not showing what I wanted to show? Okay. So, this shit out the way. You sound busy.
I'm finishing up dinner because
Yeah.
my life is wild. You know how that goes.
It's all right, bro. Anyways, oh God, I hope nobody tried to email me or send that email. But anyway, so yeah, so they did a protest like it was a while ago. This is old. This was in 2017 to take his statue down. Um, let's see if we can play the article.
Okay.
Protesters demand removal of Central Park statue of 19th century doctor who experimented on slave women.
That's crazy.
A controversial monument to a doctor who experimented on slaves became the target of protesters who rallied at Central Park on Saturday. The national conversation about Confederate statues following the violence in Charlottesville, Virginia, last weekend led activists here to renew their push to tear down the bronze likeness of Dr. J. Marion Sims. Memorializing of imperialist slaveholders, murderers and torturers like J. Marion Sims is white supremacy, said Rosanna Mercedes, 27, a member of Black Youth Project 100. We will no longer allow government institutions like the New York City Parks Department to passively allow symbols of oppression. Sims, a South Carolina native, is considered by some to be the father of modern gynecology. He developed a surgery to treat a tear women sometimes suffer after childbirth and founded the first hospital designed specifically for women in 1855. But Sims honed his craft in the 19th century by carrying out a series of experimental operations on African American slave women, without using anesthesia. Protester Seshet Mack, 24, did not mince words when asked about Sims' place in history. At best, J. Marion Sims was a racist man who exploited the institution of racism for his own gain, Mack said. At best, he was a man who recognized the humanity of black slaves to use them for medical research about the human body, but not enough to recognize and treat their pain during surgery. The statue of Sims, which stands at the corner of 5th Avenue and East 103rd Street, has been under fire for years by East Harlem residents who believe it is an affront in their racially diverse neighborhood. Workers removed the Robert E. Lee and Thomas J. Stonewall Jackson Monument in Wyman Park in the middle of the night on August 16, 2017, in Baltimore. Local news outlets reported that workers hauled several monuments away, days after a white nationalist rally in Virginia turned deadly. Denise Sanders / the Baltimore Sun via AP. The city has refused to remove the monument, cast in 1892 and first displayed in Bryant Park, despite the protests. The Parks Department said in 2011 a historical.
Okay, so with that being said, I'm not gonna go into too much details about the statue, but this man was honored for centuries. So this is from 18 what? When did he do this? From the 1800s all the way up until the 2000s, he has been the father of gynecology.
And he's only been known or became known because of what he was doing.
Yes. It reminds me of the movie Frankenstein.
Mm-hmm.
But also because I had just recently did this debate. I mean, I didn't do a debate, but I was moderating a debate about was Charles Darwin racist, right?
Okay.
So, okay, so the eugenics word was derived. I'm reading this expert from Medical Apartheid by Harriet A. Washington. I'm in chapter, what is it? Chapter 8, and it's called The Black Stork. It's called Evolutionary Laggards, right? And she says, the 20th century saw the dawn of the medical philosophy eugenics, derived from the Greek word eugenes, meaning well-born. The word was coined by Francis Galton. Let me put you on mute real quick, okay?
Okay.
I'll read it. So the word was coined by Francis Galton, a cousin of Charles Darwin. Between 1900 and 1910, genetics discovered human traits that adhere to a Mendelian pattern of inheritance, one in which the breeding of two carrier parents resulted in a mathematically predictable mixture of well, ill, and carrier offspring. Several metabolic conditions were among these Mendelian discoveries, including sickle cell anemia, red-green color blindness, and polydactyl, having more than the normal number of fingers and toes. So, moving forward, though, armed with this knowledge, Galton first formulated the desirability of using selective procreation to refine the human race while conquering social dysfunction. This goal was widely embraced on both scientific and popular levels by the 1930s, not only in the United States but also abroad. And eugenics yardsticks were applied to not only populations but to individuals. Eugenics proposed that society use medical information about disease and trait inheritance to end social ills by encouraging the birth of children with good, healthy, and beautiful traits. This study made African Americans were roundly disparaged by eugenic theory as scientists continued to seek and find wide physiologic evidence of Black inferiority. So basically, the eugenics ideology and the survival of the fittest, and what's the other thing called? Oh, it escapes my mind. But it's within the survival of the fittest, right? They're trying to prove the inferiority of Black people, but what they ended up doing is proving that we're resilient, right? And this was so I believe that Charles Darwin was racist, and let me just see, because I am going off this thing here. So when it comes to that, like Black women, Black men, hold on. Black women, Black men have suffered from this ideology for centuries. But we're really going to focus on how they get the children, how they trying to cut it off at the children, right? So you can unmute your mic now. I'm done reading that.
Okie dokie.
Yeah,
it's that this, it's like you kind of know it happened, but just hearing it kind of just, you know what I mean? Like,
it could be upsetting. It can definitely be upsetting. Right. So then we got to talk about Margaret Sanger. Uh-oh. Are we ready for that conversation? Because do you believe in abortions?
I don't care what people do with themselves.
Huh?
I don't care what people do with themselves.
Would you have an abortion?
If necessary, yeah, why not?
What would make it necessary?
When the risks outweigh the,
like your survival?
Yeah.
Okay. So, Margaret Sanger was the pioneer of Planned Parenthood, right?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
This is a eugenics program. People don't understand that this is a eugenics program, a genocide program on African Americans. The most abortions that happen in the United States is among the African American people. It reminds me of the story of Jesus and the story of Moses when they try to kill off the child. Do you know that story? No. Okay.
Yeah, I
So
did.
okay. So you know how they try to kill off the children because they don't want the Messiah to come.
Right.
This is what's still happening to this day. They do not want the Messiah to be born. But what if the but see they're I think because that baby was a boy, they felt like that Messiah was going to come in a male form. What if the Messiah comes in a female form? Nobody
Well,
ever thought of
yeah.
that, huh?
I said, well, yeah.
Nobody ever thought of that
Yeah.
because he was spiritual before he was in the flesh, right?
Right.
Okay, so this is an ongoing thing within the black community. But I want to go see. Let me just show some other stuff real quick. Y'all bear with me. Give me a second, please. Um, do you remember? Did you see that one movie where with Kevin Hart, where his wife was died in the movie and he had to raise the child and all that?
I don't think so, no.
Well, we'll just get past that. Hold on. I'm gonna just have to. Let me just post. Let me just do this one here. Hold on. Hold on. So let me just have this lady speak here. This is fair use, guys. Wait a minute.
Disparities in healthcare as it pertains to Black maternal health. More specifically, Black maternal mortality rate. If you don't know, Black women are 3 times more likely to die in childbirth, regardless of socioeconomic status, than white women. There's a lot of reasons for this, from systemic racism to access to resources, quality health care, to biases in the healthcare system. There's a lot. There's a lot that needs to be done, change legislation. But what can you do as a Black expecting mom to have better outcomes? I personally think one of the best things you can do is learn how to advocate for yourself. And I think the way you can do that is when you are going to your doctor's appointments, making sure that you're asking questions, making sure you're doing your research from reputable sources. So not, talking to your friends, getting their experience or going to social media, but going and looking and doing your own research so that you can come to your appointments with questions. If you have a doctor who is not interested in answering your questions or is dismissive, you need to find another doctor. When you are actually in the hospital to give birth, if you feel something is wrong, say something. Be assertive. You know your body better than anyone else. So if you feel like something is off, you have to be your advocate and assert yourself. Another thing you can do is making sure that your partner or whoever is going to be with you during this journey, to be going to your appointments with you or at the birth with you, is also educating themselves alongside with you so that they can also be a advocate for you. The third thing I would say is, if you can, look into maybe hiring a doula if that's an option for you. There are studies to show that people who have doulas have improved outcomes. So those are things that I feel like as a Black woman you can do to better your outcomes when you go into the hospital to have a baby. The biggest thing, if you don't take anything else away, is learning how to advocate for yourself. Learn how to advocate for yourself. If you found this helpful, like, follow, and share.
Okay, so with that being said, she she's speaking of facts here. And you even said you work at a place where you guys have doulas and stuff like that. And so let me ask you, what services do your place have, and how can people get in contact with that service?
So we have everything from prenatal, postnatal classes, support classes, parenting classes, workshops all the time. Our doulas are another part of our program, so we put them, participants in contact, with the doula that can work for them. You know what I mean? We have a list of them, and um, they can, however they decide to contact each other and decide, at the same time, you have to keep in mind, to make sure you get along with this person who's going to do this portion of your life with you. You know what I mean? So we're not, you're not a number where it's like, all right, well, you're going to get doula number 2 and that's it. No, you get a list and you call who you want and, you know what I mean? See who works with you, who you get along with and all that, which is really important. So, yeah.
Okay, and can you just reiterate, if you are in the Pasadena area, how do they get in contact with you?
So you can just go to our city of Pasadena website and look up Black Infant Health, and all of our contact is right there.
Black
Information.
Infant Health. So,
Yes.
people, if you're pregnant or your daughters are pregnant, I don't know, because my audience might be 40 and up. But if you have a daughter that's pregnant, a niece that's pregnant, or someone that is pregnant that is younger, let's please, let's try to stay out the hospitals, even though they say, oh, it's best to be in the hospital because if something goes wrong. But we have a better survival rate if we have doulas. So make a doula be your first option when giving birth. Okay. Please, whatever city you in, whatever state you're in, look up the doulas. And please make sure it's a Black one. Please make sure it's a Black doula. Make sure it's your own people that's really there to do their work. Let's not go to the. Let's try to stay at the hospitals as much as possible. And I'm about to end this live. And I want to thank you, Miss Alicia, for coming in and talking with me about the medical genocide on the Black community, part 1 about the birth and delivery. Appreciate you coming through and giving us information.
No problem. I hope it's useful to somebody, and they can uh, they can get a better experience than some have had.
Right. So let me just play my little I hope I didn't let me just play my little outro.
I gave you all the game, now y'all keep it changing. Cramp. Give you a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain. Gave you all the game, now y'all can keep the change. Crimstone from the A and I'm a reputable criminal. My name if you wanna get technical. My rag bound niggas call me young Ishmael. When I'm on the block, the only one that's gonna get mail. Cause I was raised in the hood as a crim star. I see my enemies, best believe I'm gonna go hard. I'm so smart when it come to cutting solid shit. You fucking with your boy, man, the local criminologist. See you niggas know nothing about the criminal. Catch a nigga spitting around, expect you niggas bow it down. I bet he gon' back up, if he act up. I put in the yak up, and pour the lack up. All my real niggas from the set with it. Know we got, we get some fucking back with it. I gave you all the game, now y'all keep the change. Give a penny for your thoughts and a nickel for your brain.